Anyway, many say India is proof, and I certainly say that, India is proof of the existence of God. There's no other explanation how it can possibly work as a unified society, and it does. Everybody thinks that India is about to fall apart. It's so complex and so varied, but it's not. It's been together for hundreds of years, and it's going to stay together as a country despite all the differences. India is totally variant. In that sense, you can compare it to Europe, which is why I talked about the fact that it is 3 times the population of Europe, whereas only 1/3 of the geographical size. It's a federal system of government, like Australia in some ways, but it's got unifying and standardized laws, and somehow or other the whole thing does work. It works even efficiently in some ways. Now, if we compare the European Union experiment with India, we might make a little bit more sense of the subcontinent that we're now discussing. Comparing Italy to Scandinavia is about the same as comparing Kerala to West Bengal. A common basic culture, and of course there's a common language which does not exist in Europe, but in India there is a common language, except that in the south of India, God help you if you try to speak in Hindi. They won't talk to you. In the north, it's accepted, but in the south it's not. They'll insist on speaking their own language or use English as their common language. Now, I make this comparison with Europe quite a lot because if you look at what's happening today in Europe, you've got these cultural differences, but they're somehow or other trying to unify themselves and to have a common base. This is what happened in India a couple of hundred years ago. So I look at India today as where Europe will be in a couple of hundred years' time, with some sort of a common denominator, which today in Europe doesn't exist. In India it does. Now, India started to unify during the Mughal period in the 16th century. From separate princedoms, the Mughals took over most of India and unified it into an empire. And that continued with the British Empire of a couple hundred years ago, where they continued what the Mughals did and extended it and unified the country under their rule.